All right, so before we get started, the first thing you need to know is that all the links that I'll be mentioning will be in the description, so you can find them there if you need to later on. So, all right, the very first thing you need to know when setting up Netplay for Smash Bros is specs. So, your computer needs to have these specs, otherwise you're going to have a bad experience and it probably won't run properly. You can pause the video now if you want to take a longer look at this. So, yeah, we're going to go on now. The next thing you'll need is a controller. Smash Bros. Is a game that you need a controller for. So if you have any controller that works with your PC, whether it be an Xbox 360 controller, an Xbox One controller, a third-party controller, those all work perfectly fine. But if you're a hardcore Smasher, you're probably going to want to use a GameCube controller. So if you don't already, you're going to want to try and get your hands on an adapter that connects your GameCube controller to your PC. So here's some recommended adapters. This one is supposedly the best. Once again, all the links will be in the description. This is the RAFnet adapter. It only has one port, so you're connecting your controller to your PC and only one with the adapter. This one is the newest version from Mayflash. It also works with the Wii U. It's pretty pricey though, and it may be hard to get your hands on. This is the one that I have. It's supposedly the worst, but it's also the cheapest. It's just like this one, but it doesn't work on the Wii U. It only works on PC. It has two ports, so that's good if you want to play with a buddy locally. But any one of these adapters will do well, and like I said before, you can use any controller that you have available. So the next thing you'll need is Dolphin. Dolphin is the emulator that allows you to play GameCube and Wii games on your computer. So if you already have Dolphin, you still need to get this version. This version is specifically for Netplay. Once again, you can find the links in the description. So when you click on this link, you're going to want to get the x64 version if you're on a 64-bit OS, or the x86 version if you're on a 32-bit OS. You can find that out by right-clicking on this PC, going to Properties, and right here it tells you what type of operating system you have. So mine's 64-bit. So I would click on the 64 version, and I've already downloaded it here. So when you download it, you will get this zip file. All you have to do is open it. You'll need 7-zip or WinRAR to open it. You open this up, and you get all this stuff in here. So I'm going to extract it into this folder that I have ready. We'll just wait for that. All right, so now you have the Netplay version of Dolphin, and that's good to go. You're going to want to keep it inside a folder like I have here. You can put this folder anywhere, but make sure all the contents are inside one folder. So once you get your controller set up, what you want to do is go to your Start menu, type in Devices and Printers, and you'll see over here, you'll have either, like if you have a 360 controller, there's a 360 controller thing. If you have one of the adapters, this is my GameCube controller that I have connected to the computer. You right click on it, Game Controller Settings, Properties, and then here you can like press buttons on your controller. I have mine here. You can see it's responding and stuff. But what you want to do is when you first set up your controller, you want to go to Settings and then Calibrate. And you'll find the calibration wizard. So click Next. Leave the handle centered, press a button on the controller. So you can do this calibration with your controller. Just follow the on-screen instructions. Complete circles, press a button. I'll leave the handle centered, press a button. Move the Z-axis all the way up. That's the C stick. Next. X rotation, that is the L button. Y rotation, R button. Z rotation, the C stick left and right. Next, blah, blah, blah. And I've already done it, so I'm going to click cancel, but you do want to do that calibration. That is a crucially important step, and it's one that a lot of people miss on their first try. So once you have that all done, you can go to your Dolphin, double click on it, and now you need to configure your controller to match the GameCube controller. So if it is a GameCube controller, it'll be really easy. So with the Mayflash adapter that I have, you want to choose D input 0. And that selects the controller. Make sure it's not set to keyboard and mouse, because you need to select the kind of controller you're using here. This is an Xbox controller. This is the GameCube controller. Don't use SDL right now. You want to use D input or X input. So D input 0, that's my GameCube controller. I've already mapped them, so you just click here and you press the button. It's very easy to do. You can see all my buttons work. I can press them. You can see all the little flashing things. So once again, you just click on these and then map the buttons. And that's it. So when you're done that, click OK. And now what you want to do is set up Dolphin configuration. So when you click on config, you want to make sure that you don't change anything that's here so it looks different than mine is right now. Enable dual core needs to be selected. Enable idle skipping needs to be selected. Enable cheats is selected. Frame limit auto, don't limit the FPS, leave that unchecked. Choose the JIT recompiler and leave these unchecked also. Okay, so the next thing you'll need, obviously, is the game. So if you are here to play Melee or Project M, you're going to need your Melee ISO or your Brawl ISO. So to get those, you can do this with CleanRip, which is a homebrew app for your Wii. This is not a CleanRip tutorial, so I'm not going to teach you how to use this software. You can find this elsewhere, but once you have acquired both of your ISOs, you simply need to put them in a folder like this, and then in Dolphin, you can click Browse, and then Dolphin lets you choose where you want your games directory to be. So I'll choose this, select folder, and there we go. Now I have Super Smash Bros. Melee and Super Smash Bros. Brawl in here. So hang tight. We're going to turn this into Project M in just a second. So if you're planning on playing Melee Netplay, you don't need to do anything to the ISO. It's fine as is. But what you do need to do for Melee is right-click on it, click on Properties, AR Codes, and make sure you do this. This is super important. So make sure the first cheat is selected right here, Global Melee Netplay Settings. Make sure that is on, right? So once you have that, once again, in the config, we have cheats enabled. Make sure cheats are enabled, and you've chosen the Netplay settings like we just did. So that's all you need to do for Melee. Now, since we want to turn this into Project M, what you need to do is go over here to this MediaFire link. Once again, all the links are in the description. So you'll download this, and what you'll get out of that is another zip file. And you can take the contents of the zip file and dump it into another folder, like so. So we'll wait for that. All right, so it's done. Now you can close out of this. So once again, I have a folder full of the contents of the zip that I just downloaded. Now in that folder, you also want to put your Super Smash Bros. Brawl ISO. So I put that in there, and now we have all the contents from the zip file and the ISO Brawl, and we simply double click on build ISO.bat. This could take a little while, but basically you just follow the on-screen instructions here, press any key to continue, and it'll do its thing. We'll just wait for it, and it'll transform your Super Smash Bros. Brawl ISO into the community version of Project M, which is the one used on Netplay. All right, so when you're done, you will have the Project M community ISO in the same folder. So once again, you can take both of these, and I'm going to cut them and bring them back to the folder that we were in just now. And you can delete this folder if you want. It was just to create the ISO. So now I will delete this folder. Nothing important in there. You can also delete Brawl unless you plan on playing it, but generally people don't usually play Brawl online. It's usually Melee or Project M. So yeah, now you have the Project M ISO. And if we open our Dolphin, you can see right here, we have the Project M 3.5 Netplay build readily available to us. All right, so now basically you have everything set up perfectly, but you don't have anybody to play with, right? So where do you go to find people? There is a website, and this is generally the hub where people go to find other players, and that is smashladder.com/netplay. Once again, link will be in the description. It looks a little intimidating. There's so many things on screen, but it's super, super simple. So you just make an account here, and you can select the games that you want. So I've chosen Melee and Project M over here. And you can see a list of people who are looking for games to play. And basically, you can click on the little icon over here if you want to start a game with them. It'll put you in a little chat room, and that's where you can connect to each other with Dolphin. So it's not automatic once you're in the chat room with them. So usually they'll say something like, "What's up?" and then they'll give you a code. So what do you do with this code? Well, first you want to go to Tools in Dolphin, connect to Netplay, and then you can put in a code right here. So it'll be something, and then when you have a code that's what they gave you, you can click connect, and it'll connect you into a lobby with the other person. If you want to host the game, what you do is on the ladder, you click play, choose the game that you want. So I'll choose Melee, friendlies, endless, and then when you click that, it'll send a challenge for anybody to click on. Do make sure that the people that you click on are in your region, because ping is super, super important in this game. When you're playing online, you want it to be as lagless as possible. So picking somebody who's in your area is an absolute must. Don't pick somebody who's on the opposite side of the country, unless it's a European country because they're smaller. But like if you're in the United States, don't pick somebody on the West Coast if you're on the East Coast, because then you'll be fighting against latency, and that's not good. So pick somebody who's in a close by region. Now, when you're hosting a game yourself, once you've done that, you need to right-click on your game in Dolphin, host Netplay game, and this is what the lobby looks like. So there's a lot of stuff here. Once again, it seems a little intimidating. There's a little chat so you can say stuff. Generally, people will use the chat that shows up here once you click on somebody. So there's no need to use this one. And this is the code. Like I said earlier, when you're doing tools, connect to Netplay, they'll give you a code that you put in. So now that I'm hosting it, this is the code that you want to give them. So you click copy. Now you have it. You can paste it somewhere. You can say, "Hey man, what's up? Here's the code." And then once they have the code, they'll show up in the lobby right here. And what you want to do is, based on the ping between you two, you want to lower the buffer. The buffer is very, very important. It's the input lag. So generally, I do it based on 10 times or 1/10 the amount of milliseconds delay between us. So if there's somebody who shows up and it says 30 ms under their name, it'll always be 0 for you when you're hosting because you're connecting to yourself, so there's no latency. But if theirs is 30, which is really, really good, by the way, then you want to change this to 3. If theirs is 40, change it to 4, etc., etc. Generally, 6 is the highest I'm willing to go. So if there's like 60 milliseconds, 65. But if they're higher than 70 milliseconds, then it's not really fun to play because there's too much input lag. 2 is the lowest you can go because if you put it to 1, it'll always stutter. So just remember that. And yeah, once you have all of this ready, the person's in the lobby, you set the pad buffer, you click start, it'll launch the game, and that's it. You'll be playing a game with the other person. But one thing you do want to remember is that this is P2P, which means peer-to-peer, and there's no server connecting you to. It's just you directly connecting to them. So there's nothing to keep track of both games and make sure that they're in synchronization. So if for some reason there's a desync, which means that what you see on your screen is different than what they see on their screen, you're just going to have to restart it. You'll be like, "Oh, did we desync?" You can say that in the chat that's over here. He'll be like, "Oh, we did desync." And then you just restart it, close it, host Netplay game, same shebang. So that's it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Once again, all links are in the description. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the Smash Ladder. Have fun.